I was in an 8th grade class, and I talked about how girls think about long-term relationships long before a boy does. And I said, girls are the ones who will sit in class and write their first name and his last name, right? Like, I think every girl has done that. You just want to envision what it's going to look like when you marry him. And I said, girls are the ones who middle school, high school girls have already planned what color their bridesmaids are going to wear in their wedding. And I said, I have yet to hear a teenage boy say, yeah, man, when I get married, my grooms are going to have on these tux with these, you know. Guys don't even want to plan a wedding when they are getting married, much less as a teenager. And so I said this in an 8th grade class, which typically they're single gender, but for some reason at this school I had co-ed classes in the 8th grade. And I talked about girls write their first name and the boy's last name. And everybody pointed to this one young man in the class. And so I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know boys did that. I said, I've never really known a boy to do that. And he said, I don't. And so all the other students said, but his girlfriend does. And I said, oh, I said, so you have a girlfriend? And he's like, yeah. I said, are you going to marry her? He said, no. And I said, but so how do you know already that you're not going to marry her? He said, because I go to high school next year. There are girls in high school I haven't even met yet. And I said, you know what? Guys keep their options open. And I told the girls, I said, you know what? When this guy is a senior in high school, I said, guess what? When he has a girlfriend, that girl probably is going to swear they're going to get married. And I said, and you ask that boy, he's going to say, I go to college next year. There are girls in college I haven't even met yet. So I tell the girls, I say, the bigger question, girls always say, why can't boys commit? Boys can't ever commit. And I said, let me tell you something, boys commit all the time. I said, boys commit to what they think is permanent. I said, you find a guy who wants to be a professional athlete. He is committed to working out. He is committed. I said, you find a guy who wants to be a musician or rapper. He is committed to his craft. I said, boys just commit to things that they think are long-term. Girlfriends aren't those things. And I said, the bigger question is, why do you want to commit at your age? I said, because you're dating your future ex-boyfriend. I said, because the reality is, when you date somebody, that relationship can only end one of two ways. You either marry them or break up with them. I said, those are the only two choices. I said, so the person you're dating right now is your future ex. And so how will you feel about it when, so then they end up having sex. They end up with this feeling of betrayal and abandonment, loss of trust, their self-esteem, because it's this emotional roller coaster. They're having sex because they have low self-esteem. Then they, have sex, and then they break up with them. Their self-esteem goes a little bit lower because now they're wondering, was that not enough? Like, I gave him my body. What else could I have given him? And he still left. And so each time it's chipping away at their self-esteem. So they're having sex because they have low self-esteem. They break up. Their self-esteem gets any lower. They end up on this emotional roller coaster.